Good afternoon, students. Welcome to today's class. A brief introduction about myself. I am Nayan Kumar Datta. I have completed my bachelor's degree and master's degree from Indian Institute of Engineering Science and Technology, Shibpur in 2017. Currently, I am working as assistant engineer in Public Works Department, West Bengal. I am associated with different coaching institutions for more than 6 years and have expertise in teaching students in for GATE, PSC, SSC and different competitive examinations. So today I will take a brief class. So let's begin. We will start RCC and pre-stress concrete. RCC is reinforced concrete. What is it? Something is being reinforced in the concrete. It is concrete, something is being reinforced. In our case, in civil engineering case, mainly steel is being reinforced in the concrete. We will elaborate in detail. So first see how much marks it see the breakdown. In GATE examination, this subject mainly contains 6 to 8 marks. It shows from statistics. In ESE examination, ESE means engineering service examination. In the paper 1 around 20 to 25 marks, right? Out of 300. And in paper 2 around 50 to 70 marks. It contains around 50 to 70 marks. So we will see what are the chapters involved in this. Okay, so first is basic introduction. Then limit state method. Then working state method. Then shear. Then bond, anchorage and development length. Then torsion. Then we have column, beam, slab design. At last we have footing, and at last pre-stress concrete. So these are the all 10 chapters in this subject. So if I compare from competitive exam perspective, then I will say torsion is very important chapter. Right, every chapter is very important. That is, limit state is very important, and from this MCQ question mainly come from this and this one. Then this is also mainly for MCQ. So just to give you a basic feel of RCC, what is RCC? Just to give you a basic feel about RCC, let us see what RCC means. As I have already explained you, RCC means in concrete something is being reinforced. That is, steel is being reinforced in concrete. If we see in this room only, if we see the beam, what is that beam? Beam means RCC. If you see outside the flyover, what is it consist of? It is consists of either RCC or steel, right? So if we see everywhere in civil engineering perspective, RCC is very important subject. So today I will take some basic introduction concept for this demo lecture video. Okay, we will proceed for basic introduction. So in basic introduction part, first it is very important to know why we should know RCC. As the main thing why as a designer is to know in RCC case how much reinforcement should be given in beam, in column, in footing, in slab, right? But if you see general perspective, suppose someone is not going to the designer and he is directly going to some machine, right? That machine person doesn't know how much reinforcement it is required in the structure. Suppose it's a cantilever structure or it's a simply supported structure. they know only some basic definition that 3 bars are required, 4 bars are required, but it is not the case, right? If we do the design in different cases, different types of reinforcement may be required. So as a designer, it is very important to know as a designer, it is very important to know different bending moment and shear force structure. From that we will calculate the steel requirement, right? So in basic introduction, if we see, suppose in vast majority we are having structure, we have structures. Structures can be mainly of two types. One is structures can be mainly analyzed by two types. One is analysis and second part is design. I will explain it. In analysis part, we mainly, in civil engineering perspective, we mainly have strength of material subject and structures. And in design part, we mainly have RCC, pre-stress concrete, steel, masonry, etc. So in analysis, the three things which are very important is equilibrium equation, compatibility, and third is energy. And in design aspect, the 5 most important things are safety, serviceability, durability, economy, and aesthetics. So just to give you a feel what is analysis and what is design, suppose a structure. Structure means, suppose this is our house, suppose this is the RCC house, RCC house. So first we have to do the analysis. Analysis means we have to calculate the bending moment diagram, we have to calculate the shear force diagram. That is, we are analyzing the structure. We are not calculating how much reinforcement is required to cater that bending moment and shear force. Got it? I am explaining it again. In analysis part, what we are doing is we are mainly calculating the shear force, bending moment, torsion, all this. But we are not design the structure to cater all this. To cater all this, we are designing the structure. Here we will provide steel, we will provide reinforcement to take all this, right? So if we analyze, then three things are very important. One is equilibrium equation. In strength of material, we have already studied that summation of fx is equal to 0, summation of fy is equal to 0, summation of fz is equal to 0. All these three equations are called equilibrium equation, right? What is compatibility equation? Compatibility equation means the deflection should be 0, summation of, right? Y should be 0, it should be delta, that is deflection. Summation of del z is equal to 0. And energy means strain energy. In strength of material, we have studied all these things in detail. Now, here is our RCC, right? So, what is safety? Safety means, suppose we are designing suppose a beam. We are designing a beam. So, the beam should, safety means the beam should be able to scatter the shear force and bending moment. That is, it is safe against that shear force, against that bending moment, against that torsion, right? This is utmost important in strength of material. These two things, that is safety and serviceability. These two things are very important in RCC. Now serviceability. What is serviceability? Serviceability mainly caters with deflection, shrinkage, creeping. So what are all these? Suppose as a designer, you have designed a beam. A beam is safe to cater that bending moment and shear force and torsion. But suppose we all are in this room. Now we are seeing that the beam is having some cracks or it is bending. As a designer, you know that you have designed the beam to cater all these shear force, bending moment and torsion. It is safe. But as a feel, right? As a feel, we will see that it is having some cracks, it is having some deflection. So from that perspective also, we have to ensure the structure is not deflecting too much, it is not having cracks too much, right? So in serviceability criteria, cracks, deflection, all these things have some limit. It should be within this limit, right? What is durability? Durability means we have designed a structure. The structure should be safe enough to withstand other forces like wind force. Durability means the structure should be durable against the environmental action, right? Economy means we all know, with the purview of safety, serviceability and durability, if we can economize, if we can reduce the cost, then it is better. And last one is aesthetics. Aesthetic means after doing all this, if the aesthetic look of the building is very good, then it is very advantageous for us. Like if I give one example, suppose I am giving example of a beam. If I say safety means, suppose example of a beam, where we are providing reinforcement, suppose single layer reinforcement, that is we are giving something to cater that shear force and bending moment to make it safe, right? It is safety. Now if someone say what we are doing to cater the serviceability criteria, we may design the beam as doubly reinforced beam. If we design the beam as doubly reinforced beam, then the deflection part will be reduced, the creeping part, shrinkage part will be reduced. So we can do the first in safety criteria. What you can do, we can make it as a singly reinforced beam. In the second part, in serviceability criteria, to reduce the deflection, to reduce the shrinkage and creeping, what we can do, we can make it as a doubly reinforced beam. Doubly reinforced beam. Now the third one, to make the structure durable, what we can do, we can give nominal cover. This we know, these are nominal covers. Why we are providing it? We are providing it so that the outside environment doesn't cater with the steel. If outside environment is suppose air and water is coming like this, so this will get corroded, right? So by providing nominal cover, we are giving durability. And economy, how we can do? Later we will see there are several methods like living state method, working state method, by which we will design the structure with economy. And aesthetic part, what we can do, suppose this is a structure like this. In aesthetic part, what you can do, we can bend the corner part like this. It depends on architectural view, right? Just to give you a simple idea, not like this. If we can do like this one, the corner of the building. So this will give aesthetic beauty also. Okay, we will move to the next part. Let us start. So now we will see what is concrete, right? If you see in layman term, concrete means it is a mixture of cement. Cement means fine aggregate. Cement plus coarse aggregate plus water plus admixture, right? Fine aggregate plus or you can say like this, fine aggregate plus coarse aggregate plus water plus admixture gives us concrete. Now concrete mainly what we generally in layman term what we generally use is the concrete what we have prepared now is called fresh concrete. Fresh concrete or green concrete, that is freshly prepared concrete. And second one is called hardened concrete. Hardened concrete, the name itself suggests hardened means it has hardened, that is generally it is after 20 days of the casting of concrete. So in fresh concrete we are having we have several tests to measure how the we have several tests to measure the quality of the fresh concrete. Here there is a term which is called workability. Workability means the ease of work with. See, let us understand this. Workability means suppose we have prepared some concrete. Suppose one machine will bring the concrete from here to there and put it, suppose a beam is casting or a slab is casting. So they will put it like this. Now there are two things. Suppose it is very liquid, suppose the concrete is very liquid, then the strength won't be much. And suppose the concrete is very hard, so it will not settle fast. So there has to be a in between point, that is the liquidity of the prepared concrete has to be in moderate. That is we measure it by workability. Workability can be measured by 3 tests. One is slump test, one is VB test, one is compacting factor test. I am not going into the detail of all these 3 tests, but the names are very important. In GATE previous year, in some year, the name of any of these has asked, right? Now this one is very important, that is hardened concrete. We will see it in detail. In hardened concrete, 3 names are very important, 1, 2 and 3. First is compressive strength of cube, right? Second one is characteristic compressive strength of cube, right? And third one is characteristic compressive strength of concrete. Now we will see in detail all these 3, because these 3 are very important. Suppose the first one, right? The compressive strength of cube. Right, so it is the strength of concrete. There are 3 things. After preparing a concrete cube, there are 3 conditions. One is, suppose this is the concrete cube. After casting, after 28 days of casting, the strength test has to be done. Right, while we are putting it in the machine, the UTM, that is universal tensile machine, the loading, what's coming here, that is uniaxial tension, uniaxial compression. The loading is, so what are the conditions? Loading is uniaxial compression. Second one, after casting of the concrete, we are testing the concrete after 28 days from the date of casting. And number 3 condition is the concrete, the cube size has to be 150 millimeter, right? So the strength what we got is called compressive strength of cube, right? Now the second one, the characteristic compressive strength of cube. Second one, characteristic compressive strength of cube. Now, first I am writing down the definition. It is the strength below which not more than 5% test results are expected to fall. Now I will elaborate it. Suppose we have tested many cubes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. Suppose we have tested 100 cubes, right? That is, this is 1, this is 2, like this. We have tested 100 cubes and we have got strength of that. Now if we plot it, all this, so we will get a graph like this. How we are arriving with the graph? Okay, let's start. Suppose in x-axis is strength and here number of cubes or probability. So in generally the strength will be like this, some up down, something like that. But this is a general representation of the 100 cubes what we have tested. So what this definition is saying, it is the strength below which not more than 5% test results are expected to fall. That means suppose we are designing for a strength of 25 Newton per millimeter square. Suppose we are designing the cubes for this one. Suppose number 1 cube gives us 24, number 2 gives us 30, number 3 gives us 28, number 4 gives us 20, like this, so on and so on. What it is saying that in the 100 sample, only 5 are allowed to be less than 25. If it is not, that means the sample what we have tested is not passing the criteria. So what you can do, suppose we are like this, we are calling this point suppose FCK and calling this point FT. FT means target strength, FCK means characteristic compressive strength. So this area what we are saying, suppose if the whole area is 100%, so this area should be less than 5% according to this definition. Right, you are getting? I think you are getting. The total 100 samples, by this definition only 5 can fall below a target number. Suppose the target number is 25. If we are graphically representing it, suppose the whole area of the graph is 100. So only 5% test result below FCK, suppose this is FCK. So only 5 can fall here and 95 should be here. Right? Now we will come to the third one. Characteristic compressive strength of concrete. Okay, now before this, what FT? Now we are saying FCK and FT. We are only in the second part only. I am discussing the third one later. Now in this picture we can see FT is more than FCK. So if we can say it in an equation, FT should be FCK plus something. It is FCK plus, it is called Ks. What is K? K is a factor. What is the value of the factor? The value of the factor is 1.65. Why from this 1.65 came? If we do master degree in there is one subject which is called reliability. There one term is there which is called phi inverse. Phi inverse of 0.05. Phi 0.05. 0.05 means that 5% part, right? This is 1.65. This is not in your syllabus. No need to worry. You just have to remember FT is equal to FCK plus 1.65 S. What is S? S is standard deviation. S is standard deviation. So this formula you have to remember, FT is equal to FCK plus S. Now there are some standard values of S in IS 456. You have to remember this. So, this is for this small chart you have to remember. This is concrete grade, and this is S. S means standard deviation, right? Concrete grade 10 and 15, that is 10 Newton per millimeter square or 15 Newton per millimeter square. S is 3.5. How we are arriving this value? This value is given in our code. There is which code? IS 456, right? For 20 and 25 it is 4, and for 30, 35, 40 and above it is 5. This value we have to remember. Right, now what we'll do, we will do some 1 or 2 math which has come in our previous year gate. Okay, so write down. Okay, I am writing down the question for you. This question has come in previous year ESE, right? The question is, okay, let me erase all this. The question is uniaxial compression test result of 100 cubes are listed below. are listed below in increasing order. Increasing order. It is 26, 26.5, 27, 27.5, 28, 29, 29.5, again 29.5, 30, dot 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 100 samples. Okay, and the question is, what is FCK? Question is, what is FCK? So, can you solve this? Okay, let me do it for you. So, here are 100 samples, right? In FCK definition, what we have seen, that the definition says not more than 5% test results are expected to fail. So, okay, so here are 100 samples. So, it is very easy. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So, these 5 can be allowed to fail. Dada. All these things. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 test results can fail, and 29 to upwards can pass. So, what will be the answer? Many of you will say 29 will be the answer, because it is fitting in our definition, right? Not more than 5% test results are expected to fail. That is 5 out of 100. 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this 5 can fail. This 95 will pass. So the answer should be, according to the definition, is 29. Right? But here is a caveat. If we see the chart and if we study the IS 456 carefully, the grade of concrete is in multiple of 5. See, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, like this. So the answer can't be 29. Okay, so what will be the answer? Now we can say the answer should be either 25 or 30, right? Either of these will be correct. Now, suppose I am considering this one. Suppose the answer is 30. Tell me if the answer is 30 or not. Suppose you are giving me the answer is 30. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 specimens have strength less than this. Right? But what is the definition? Not more than 5%. That is 5 out of 100. Here, 8 out of 100 is falling less than 30. So, 30 can't be our answer. Suppose we are taking 25. Where is 25? 25 is not even here. Suppose not even here, that means 0 samples. That means in the test result, 0 test results are below 25. Now, fit in our definition. Our definition says not more than 5%. It is 0. It is fitting or not? It is fitting, right? So the answer will be 25 Newton per millimeter square. FCK is equal to. This is a very tricky question. This has come in previous year ESC. Okay, we will solve another one. This has come in previous year GATE, right? Just give me a minute. Okay, this question. Question number 2. I am just writing down the data. I am not writing the full question. I will elaborate it. Number of is 23, 28, 22.5, 31, 29. Specimens number are 4, 2, 5, 5, 4. Right. Now I'm not writing down the question. I am discussing it. The question is the frequency distribution of the compressive strength of 20 cubes. Total number is 20 cubes. Total, right? Total 20 cubes. Specimens is given in the table. This is the table. Now the question is, if mu is the mean strength, what is it? Mu is the mean strength. If mu is the mean strength of the specimens and sigma is the standard deviation, then the question is find out the number of sample. Find out the number of specimens. Number of specimens with compressive strength less than mu minus 3 sigma. This is the question. This is a very important question. That is a very conceptual question. This has come in GATE previous year. The question is, now you may ask what is specimen, what is sample. So I am just discussing with you what is specimen. Specimen means if one cube is, so okay, what is specimen and what is sample? In civil engineering case, in RCC case, suppose if we are testing one cube, that one cube is specimen, and sample means bunch of 3 cubes at a time. Generally, test are being performed like this: 3 cubes at a time. So all 3 combinedly called sample. Sample means 3 cube. Specimen means one single cube. The question comes, everything is for single cubes, right? So okay, can you do it? Okay, I am doing it for you. So what is mu? Mu means, what is mu? Mu means mean strength. Mu, it is very easy. Mu will be the average strength of all this, right? So what is the average? 23. That is 23 MPa. Total is 4. That is 23, 23, 23, 23, 28, 28, 2. You are getting, right? 22.5 is for 5 specimens. 31 for 5, 29 for 4. So mu will be 23 into 4 plus 28 into 2 plus 22.5 into 5 plus 31 into 5 plus 29 into 4 by what? By the total number of specimen. What is the total number of specimen? 4 plus 2, 6 plus 5, 11 plus 6, 16 plus 4, 20, right? Total will be 20. So what is the value of mu? Let me see what it comes. The answer is coming 26.575 MPa. What is MPa? MPa means megapascal. The question is in MPa. We know what is MPa. Megapascal means Newton per millimeter square. Right? Now, sigma. So, what is the equation for sigma? Write it down. It will be Fi minus mu whole square by n minus 1. So, can you calculate the value of sigma? Standard deviation. Right? Okay, let me calculate for you. I'm erasing this part, right? What is the value of sigma here? I'm writing the equation here for your understanding. Fi minus mu whole square by n minus 1, right? Now, tell me a big whole square. Fi minus mu. What is Fi? Fi means 23 minus mu. What is mu? 26.575 whole square into how many numbers? 4 plus again 28 minus mu means 26.575 whole square into how many numbers? 2 plus again 22.5 minus 26.575 whole square. How many numbers? 5 plus 31 minus 26.575 whole square into 5 plus 29 minus 26.575 whole square into 4. Give it a bead like this. This one. By n minus 1. What is n? N is 20 minus 1. I am not doing the detailed calculation. The final answer of this will be, it will come as 3.697 MPa. Right? You can cross check it. Now our question was the number of specimen with strength below mu minus 3 sigma. Now calculate mu minus 3 sigma. What is mu? Mu is 26.575 minus 3 into sigma, 3.697. This comes to be 15.585 MPa. Right, now come in the chart. So 29, 31, 22, okay. So it comes to be 15. So tell me how many specimens are here with strength below 15.585. The lowest of all this is this one, 22.5. So here no specimen in the given sample size have strength less than 15.585. So the final answer should be, tell me, this is the lowest, right? No specimen in this question is having strength below this one. So the answer should be 0. Right, you got it? Okay. Let me discuss one more question. This is also very important question. It has come in previous year. Just a minute. I'm not writing down the whole question. I'm just discussing the concept. In previous year, the question comes to be like this. The definition of FCK, what it says? The strength below which not more than 5% test results are expected to fail, right? But the question was, if suppose the question is FCK, the question is strength below which not more than 50% test results are expected to fall, and they have given a graphical representation like this. This one, this is FCK, and this is given in the question, right? This is FT. Like this, the options were FCK, BFT, C FCK plus 1.645s, and D is FCK minus 1.645s. Right. In our theory part, what we have seen is like this one. This one, right? You remember? This is 5%. This is FCK. This is called FT. This is our trivial case, right? And we have seen FT is equal to FCK plus 1.645 into S. Now they have framed the question in such a way, they have changed the definition. The definition itself has changed. It is saying strength below which not more than 50% test results are expected to fall, not 5%. Remember, give importance to that. Now, if the whole area is 100%, in our case this is 5%, so what will be 100%? The half part, this will be 100%, this will be 100%. Now I am hatching this one, right? So this is 50%. It is strength in this axis. So if not more than 50% test results are expected to fail, that means all this will pass. This is 50, right? This is 50, this is 50. So above 50 will pass, this will fail. So what will be the answer? What is the strength? That strength is this one, that is FT. It is FT, right? And generally FT is called target strength or target mean strength. Okay. Now we will discuss one more topic. Okay. Now we will discuss the basic thing. What is the basic difference between moment and bending moment? I think this question has come many times in students' mind. What is the basic difference between moment and bending moment? So let me elaborate. Moment is the concept of strength of material, right? But the bending moment is the concept of civil engineering. There is mainly structural engineering or RCC. There is reinforced concrete. So there can be moment or bending moment. Bending moment. This is the concept of structures. The same thing, but the name is different. Structure or RCC. But this is the concept of strength of material. Here we define moment as clockwise moment or anti-clockwise moment. But when we define moment in case of structures of RCC, we define that bending moment as hogging or sagging. So, as a civil engineer, if you are giving an interview and they are asking what is the moment here, that is, they will ask what is the bending moment. If you say it is clockwise or anti-clockwise, that means it is totally wrong. In civil engineering case, the moment will be either hogging moment or sagging moment. But when we are doing strength of material small problem, then you can say it is clockwise or anti-clockwise. Okay. The last thing I will discuss a small last topic. Many students have problem in calculating in which axis the moment is acting. What is moment? Moment basically means force into distance, right? This is F. Suppose this is fixed cantilever into L. So the generated moment will be F into L. But when we are dealing with three-dimensional system, suppose this one. Let me take a simple example. This one. What is it? It's a simply supported beam. Simply supported beam. Now some loading is there. It will deflect like this. Okay. So students, this is the moment, generator moment. How this generator moment comes? Okay. Let me discuss in detail. So this moment is axis about which axis? This is our main question. So I will discuss a small theory by which we will calculate in which axis the moment is acting. So the first one is the load line should not be parallel to the axis, and the second point is you have to remember these 2 points, right? The load line should not meet the axis. You have to remember these 2 points, then you can calculate by which axis the moment is acting. Let me take a simple example. Suppose this is a column. And one more thing, how we will define our XYZ system? XYZ, how we will define it? First point is the longitudinal axis, we will define it as Z. Longitudinal means the axis along the length. Suppose this is the column, this axis is Z. Then we will define the other two, X and Y, right? So suppose in this example, this is a column. So what is the longitudinal axis? Where is the length? The length is like this. So this will be our Z axis. Suppose this is ZZ. Suppose I am drawing a cross section of this one. This is the cross section. So tell me the axis system. If this is X, so horizontal will be, if this one is Z, so horizontal will be XX and this will be YY, right? So the cross section, this is the section. I am looking at the section. So section will be, tell me what will be the section? Section will be, tell me, X and Y, right? X and Y. Now suppose I am drawing the figure again. Suppose the load is acting like this. This is P. This is the center line. Okay. This is the cross section. Suppose we know this P is suppose here. Okay. So this is ZZ. This is XX. And this is YY. Axis system is clear. Now we want to know about which axis the moment is acting. So what is our first point? The load line should not be parallel to the axis. So P is parallel to Z, right? P is parallel to Z. So there will be no moment in Z. So no moment about Z. The second one, the load line should not meet the axis. This P in cross section, it is meeting with XX. So no moment about X also. So Y remains. So there will be bending moment about Y in this example. This is very this two point is very efficient in calculating about which axis the moment is acting. Okay, I have explained this one in case of a column, right? Now you do for a beam. The same thing you have to do for a beam. Okay, for this, suppose this is a beam, a simply supported beam like this one. Suppose load is acting here. This is P. So tell me which is the ZZ axis, the longitudinal one. What is longitudinal? The axis along the length. What is the length? This one. So this will be ZZ. This is the cross section, right? This one, like this. So if we draw the cross section like this one, what you will see? This part, right? This one. This one, this is the cross section. So this is ZZ. So X and Y remains. Here this is Z. That means the vertical will be YY, and the remaining will be XX. So tell me what are these? So in this case, tell me what are these? This is Z. So this will be Z, and this is X. So this will be X. Suppose the load is where load is acting. Suppose load is acting here. So this point. So the first point, the load line should not be parallel to the axis. The load is parallel to which one? X. So nothing about X, right? The load line should not cut the axis. About Z. So nothing about Z. The figure. Now we will apply our concept. The load line should not be parallel to the axis. So this is P. So let me write down P here for your better understanding. This is P, right? Let me take a different marker. So this one is P. So P is parallel to Y, right? This is the figure. I think the figure is clear. Now we will apply these 2 points. The load line should not be parallel to the axis. So if this is P, this is YY. So if P is parallel to Y, that means no moment about Y. Second point, the load line should not meet the axis or cut the axis. So this is cutting ZZ. So no moment about Z also. So what? So only X remains. So there will be moment about X. That is bending moment X. Right. Now, so for beam, BMX is important. To cater BMX, I am just giving you to give you a feel how these all things are connected. So cater BMX, IXX will be important, right? Now this is the XX, right? This is XX. So what is the value of IXX? IXX is, this is B, this is D. So you know IXX is BD cube by 12. Now see, all these things are connected. In case of column, we see Y is important, that is BMY. In case of beam, we see X is important, that is BMX is important. To calculate BMX, we will have to increase the IXX. What is IXX? Suppose this is the cross section. If this is XX, so this axis IXX is important. And what is the value of IXX? What is I? I is moment of inertia. I will be BD cube by 12. Now if we increase the D means the depth of the beam. If we increase the depth of the beam, that is D cube will generally increase, that is IXX will generally increase. If IXX value increases, then it will cater more amount of bending moment of X. So what do we know generally, right? If we increase the depth of the beam, then it will take much more moment, and it will take much more moment, and our structure will be safe. So now you have understood why the D is very important in case of a beam. See, everything is connected. Strength of material, RCC, structures, all these things are connected. So with this, I am ending this small demo. Hope you like it. Thank you.